What's up, Warriors? It's Mrs. O. I'm just reviewing some key points on the coordinate plane for you guys. We do have geometry units coming up, and I want to make sure everybody feels confident in just the coordinate plane itself, because you have to understand this to be able to do everything we're going to do in class. So I want to make sure we feel good on this, and if you need a quick review, this is the video for you. All right, so the first thing you always want to pay attention to is the scale. The scale tells me like how much each box is worth. Okay, so I labeled these. This box is worth 1, 2, 3, 4. So each line is one more unit. Okay, so although I only labeled to 7s and then the negative 7s, you could, if I asked you like what is this line right here, you should be able to tell me 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That line would be 12. Okay, so that's something important. The next important thing are axis lines. So there are two main ones on every coordinate plane or graph that you look at. You have your y, which is a vertical line. It goes up and down, okay, your y. And your x-axis is a horizontal line. It goes left and right. Now, the reason we call these the x and the y, this line right here, x always is going to equal 0, right? No matter where I'm at. So if I were to say this point right here, it would be a 0, 5. So the only value you have to say is your y value. That is why we call this the y-axis. This line is your x-axis because no matter where you're at on this line, your y value is always 0. So right here is negative 7, 0. So you only are saying your x value. So that's why we call that one the x-axis. So kind of interesting. And those are really important. I teach my class the way to remember them is a y, and I'm going to show you guys just on this piece of paper right here. We can write a y really tall. Like, wow, look how tall that y is. It's tall and skinny, so our y is the really long one. We can write an x super fat, right? Ta-da! So our x-axis, is the one that goes horizontal because it's the fat line. So that's how I tell my class to remember it, okay? That's really important. The next thing is that when we're naming a coordinate, we always name our x value first. So when we name coordinates, we put them in parentheses, right? Sorry, you can't see that very good. Okay, and we always say our x first and then our y, okay? That's always how we do it. So if I were to pick, I'm going to show you a few points on here. I'm going to pick a point. All right, we're going to name this one right here, okay? So if I were to label what coordinate that is, we say where its location is. So you always do your x first, again, your x first. So I went over 4, up 2, so I would label it 4, 2. Cool? And the way I teach my kids to remember that we label the x first is by saying, pretend we're at the mall, okay? I'm at the mall. I'm walking through a store. I want to go upstairs. You can't just magically go up the stairs. You have to find the elevator on the floor first before you can go up and down. Okay, so think of it like you're at the mall or you're at a store, I don't know, whatever your favorite store is. To go to the second floor or a bottom floor, you have to find the elevator. You can't magically just go down, or the stairs, okay? So you find the elevator wherever it's at and then you go up and down. Or you look for the stairs wherever they're at and then you go up and down. You have to say your x value first. Okay, so I'm going to do one more just to give you guys a little bit more practice. Let's do right here. All right, so I find my elevator first, so I'm going backwards along my x-axis first. So it looks like it's at negative 2 and then down 3. So if I were to name this one, I would say negative 2, negative 3. Cool? Okay, and the last important thing is you need to know your quadrants. So sometimes in geometry, we will refer to a specific quadrant. This is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And it covers, I'm going to shade one in for you guys so you can see. So quadrant 4 down here covers from this line over there. So it goes between my x and my y-axis. That is all in quadrant 4. So all of this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3. Okay, that's really important. And the next thing you might notice is when we are in quadrant 1, both our values are positive, right? Our x will always be positive and our y will always be positive. When we're in quadrant 2, our x value, look at, went negative, but our y value is still positive. So our x will always be negative, our y will always be positive. Quadrant 3, our x's are negative and our y's are negative. So it's going to be a negative, negative. And over here in quadrant 4, our x's are positive, but our y's are negative. So it's going to be positive, negative. Okay, again, this is just a quick review of a coordinate plane to help you out with our geometry units.